Coming up in today's smart home episode. Hey Siri, turn on the kitchen lights.
Just to confirm, you want me to order a pair of large types?
What? No, turn on the kitchen lights.
Okay, I ordered extra large types.
So yes, this right here is a smart switch that works with my smart home that I bought online really cheap from Banggood. And this basically went from me thinking that this was never even going to arrive to turning into one of my most favourite smart home products, and this has spawned me making this video. Now, for some context, as you guys know, I'm always testing out different gadgets from here, there and everywhere to do with smart homes, but at the same time as that, I'm also running, managing and operating my own smart home that needs to work pretty much 24/7 for me and all the other people in my house. Now, if you've ever put together a smart home before, you'll know that one of the main complaints from guests is that, hey, why do I have to use my voice to control the lights? Or why do I have to use an app to control my lights? What's wrong with a plain old wall switch, says my grandma. Now, don't get me wrong, I love a standard non-smart wall switch. The fact that we can flick one and have the light turn on is really, really good and something that we all take for granted. But we do live in the 21st century, and I've got different lights, for example, in my kitchen from, let's say, a company called LifeX under my counter, behind my cactus and under my TV stand. And then I've also got some lights from Philips Hue, specifically the blooms, and I've got these over here behind my plants and on my table. So for me to get my perfect lighting setup in my kitchen, I've got to have a mixture of different manufacturers. Now, the problems with a standard light switch are as follows. You can't change the colour temperature from warm to cool. You can't change the physical colour of the lights if you wanted purple, red, green or blue, for example, and you can't change the brightness. It is basically just on or off, and that is the be all and end all of the situation. Now, what makes a good smart switch? A few things. Number one, it needs to be wireless. Number two, it needs to be easily configurable. And number three, it needs to be really responsive. We'd absolutely hate it if we clicked a button on our light switch and then it took 3 or 4 seconds to react. It needs to be instantaneous, as to which this little Belkin switch is, and that's because it uses a protocol called Thread. Now, as far as physical buttons are concerned to control your smart home scenes, there isn't really that much floating about on the market at the moment. I've actually backed on Indiegogo a product called Flick Twist, and this is promising some really, really interesting smart home automations and basically just a physical dial. So I've ordered one. Stay tuned for that video. Definitely get subscribed. Now, one day I was browsing the internet just on random websites as you do, and I found myself on Banggood looking for cheap smart home gadgets, and I came across this special little switch, and it says it's from Aqara. Basically it said this was a wireless switch, and it said it was the HomeKit version compatible with HomeKit, and it was $22. So obviously that had me really, really skeptical, because to be honest with you, most HomeKit products come with Apple tax on top of them, and this being $22, I was pretty sure it wasn't going to work. I've already got the Aqara system installed. Alex, what's the Aqara system? Well, basically it consists of the Aqara gateway, and I've got some motion sensors, and I've also got some door sensors, and all of this ties into HomeKit through the Aqara bridge, which is connected to my network via Ethernet. So technically, this switch is meant to connect to the Aqara bridge and then appear in HomeKit. And I waited and I waited, and then finally, one day, this showed up. Yeah, as you can see, here's the box. It didn't really arrive in one piece. However, what was inside works absolutely fine. I went into the Aqara app to onboard this new device, and when I went to add the device, I was looking through the available devices list, and this thing just wasn't an option at all. I just thought, what I'm gonna do is try one of the other random buttons and just pretend it's one of these and see if we can actually get it to connect. And lo and behold, the thing connected. I then went over to my HomeKit app, and to my absolute surprise, the button appeared in HomeKit. I was absolutely over the moon, and I named this thing Monster Switch because this thing really is a monster switch. All 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the buttons, and then each of the buttons has a triple click. So that is 18 different assignable buttons inside of HomeKit. So now begs the question, Alex, what can you actually do with it? And well, I'm going to show you some of my smart home routines and setups right now, just after a quick word from our sponsor, NordVPN. Now, one thing you probably don't know about NordVPN is they are more than just a VPN, but more on that in a quick second. On the surface, VPNs are absolutely great because they give you the ability to hide your IP address, which is basically your home's address, but the actual internet version of it. This is great if you are at home, but even better if you are on a public Wi-Fi hotspot. Let's say you're in a coffee shop using their public Wi-Fi. You're definitely going to want to make sure you're using a VPN, just to stay safe. With Nord, you can connect to one of their thousands of servers that they literally have located worldwide. And by doing this, you can do things like get around geo restrictions. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Nord are trying to take this to the next level. Not only are Nord a VPN, but in their latest app, they have introduced threat protection. So this will protect you against malicious sites, malware, and trackers, which are dotted pretty much on every single website building a profile up about you that you visit. You can get a 2-year plan with 1 month for free, pretty much with our link in the description for the same price as a cup of coffee every month. And a huge thanks to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. Okay, so I've had this thing for a couple weeks now inside of my smart home, and this is what I've managed to assign all of the buttons to. If you take a look inside of my HomeKit right here, all of these buttons are doing certain things to different accessories or controlling scenes, like you can see here: kitchen off, kitchen dim, and kitchen on. These are corresponding to different scenes that I have set up inside of HomeKit. So what we can do is set up a fake scenario here. Let's just say we want to click the button and we want the TV to come on and the lights around the TV to also illuminate. So we're going to add here an action to button 6. And I'm going to say here to control the kitchen TV as well as the cactus and the beehive lights that are next to it. Once we click next, we've got some options. We can show the controls for the TV, so obviously we want the TV to come on. I can then choose the actual input of the TV if I wanted to. Now next we've got the lights around the TV, so obviously we can just turn these on. I'll set them to 63 and 50%, and then you can set this automation to turn off after a specific amount of time. Let's just say to save energy. Right, demo time. So now hopefully if I click the right button on here, it should turn the lights on and the TV. Yeah, I can see, sick. It works. There you go. So, Alex, what's your final thoughts on this smart home button for HomeKit from Banggood for $22? This thing absolutely slaps. Not gonna lie, guys. I just completely didn't think this was gonna work. I went out on a whim and bought it, and it is literally the best thing I've ever done. I've since ordered 3 more of these. Obviously, they haven't arrived yet. Probably gonna be waiting another few weeks. However, I wanna put one of these in every room, and therefore you can have literally different scenes for every room. So like a daytime one, a warm one, a cool one, a nighttime one, a chill one. It's literally completely limitless. Something else to note as well, they also make a double and single rocker version if this is just far too many buttons and switches for you on this particular device. As you can see on mine, I've sort of tackily put some labels on it so I can get used to what all of the actual button presses do. But the fact that this thing works with HomeKit, it's wireless, it's rapid, and it works really, really well. And the icing on the cake being that it's $22, I mean, this thing is absolutely awesome, and I don't even know how it's $22, to be honest with you. It's still blowing my mind to this day. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this little video anyway, guys. My name's been Alex, this has been TechFlow, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.